Dollywood and all that area.
In October, my African Violet Club, the Tidewater African Violet Society, decided to take a field trip to upstate New York to visit 2 greenhouses that specialize in growing and selling African violets. We're on day 2 of our tour, and today we are visiting Naples, New York to attend the 2nd annual open house of the Violet Barn run by the husband and wife team of African violet growers and hybridizers, Rob and Olive Robinson. This was quite the informative tour. Enjoy!
Somewhere that you know where it is, so he needs it.
Okay, I'll go.
Yes. That's the only variety we still sell. I'm hoping that hello. Are you here for the tour? Okay.
All right, I hope everybody can see and or hear me. You can just stay there and I'll just talk through it. I won't explain too much about the plants because you'll see them when you zoom in. I apologize for the empty shelves, but obviously these are plants that were in bloom that are now on the table and for sale. Before you came, everything here was full. Okay. And it changes through the course of the year depending on how busy we are and all that. During the winter, it'll be a little bit less, and then spring, every last nook and cranny will be full because we sell a lot of plants. First thing, when you walk through the door, you notice these. I'm going to focus on how we grow things, so kind of maybe you can apply one or more things to how you grow it. I think that's probably the most that you'll get out of it. Since there's no entranceway to this building, we built, this is about 15 years old. We built it because we ran out of space, of course. And you see how we built it, we had a limited amount of space. We actually, the size of all of our buildings, originally it was just that barn is circa 1900. It was originally an old wooden barn it was literally a barn. It had animals in there, etc. It was fixed up, made into a living space upstairs. My wife and I live upstairs, and then the working area was on the bottom. Originally, it was just a footprint of the barn. And then, of course, Olive and I married in late 1997. And June of that year, one of the reasons she probably married me is I built the greenhouse on the back. It was a glass house.
That's probably right.
And of course, being a plant person, that was probably the biggest selling point. That glass house isn't there anymore. We took the glass down a few years ago, just pre-COVID, and then built a building over it. And so now everything is under LED light. And the reason we did that is that glass house, it was always a dream to have a glass house. You can go in there and have a tropical environment, even in the middle of this climate, even in the middle of winter. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to grow plants because in the winter, it's very humid. It would actually rain off the glass. It would condense up there and it would drip on the plants. It would get very cold in the winter. You'd have to heat it. Cost a fortune to heat it. And then you'd have these cold patches on the floor or whatever. The plants didn't like it. And then in the spring, I'd have to put all kinds of shading on the glass to keep the sun out, and then it would get very hot and dry. We'd have to air condition. So it was very expensive. We'd have to pay a full-time help just to spend 2 days a week just to water the plants during the summer to keep them from drying out so fast. And pest problems, when you have those kind of conditions, extreme environments, you're more likely to have pest problems because they like those kind of conditions, etc. Multitude of issues. Any event, once a month I tell Olive, I'm so glad we got rid of that greenhouse. But the environment here and in the main area is the same 365 days a year. So the plants are very easy to grow that way, very predictable. In any event, there was a glass house added, and then there was that back room where the presentation is being done added, and there's a growing space next to that. Shortly after the glass house, it was like a year after we married, and then we built out this way out into the parking lot into where all the show plants are. A couple years after that, we ran out of space and we built this. In any event, all those additions were done. The size and shape of them, that one where the program is actually built at an angle to the building. It's not square because we have we have to be so many feet off the road, so many feet off the creek here. This building can only go so far out because there's a creek over there. In any event, that's why this building is here. That's why it's the size that it is. So we have a certain amount of size we're stuck with. How do you get the most plants in here? Well, you can see what we did. We just went floor to ceiling. This is maximize the number of shelves we can get in here. And I believe there's 110 4-foot light fixtures in here.
Wow.
It's 22 times 5 levels. So it's 110. And how do we control the environment? Well, you saw there's an air conditioner there. And there's curtains here we draw so that the cold air doesn't blast in here in the winter when somebody opens the door. Everything we do around here, it's hermetically sealed, so no bugs. After this event, we're gonna spray the place down so no bugs can come in or out. There's no openings. There's a reason that the plants are arranged the way they are. So we have some on blankets, and you'll notice in the shop that there's a lot of our plants are grown on blankets, and the way we water, for those of you who haven't done it that way, is that it just sits on a blanket, and we pour a measured amount of water in here. I'll show it to you when we get in the other room, but we have a scoop, one measuring cup. Well, actually, this takes 3 measuring cups. 3 scoops to a shelf gets it just the right amount of water if the shelf is full of plants. Obviously, if it's like this, you take some judgment. We let it dry out. In this kind of environment where it's so humid, it may be 2 weeks before this dries out. When that air conditioner is running through most of the year, and then in the winter, we take that air conditioner out and we put a dehumidifier in there. And we recycle everything that we can recycle. Any water that we collect from the air conditioners or dehumidifiers, we collect and we use it to water plants. It's basically like distilled water. There's another tag that you may see on trays. There's probably some around there. Yeah, there's some over there. On the houseplant level, you see these tiny little tags. It has a code on there, and a lot of them have a date. That is whenever we mix up soil. Every bale of ProMix has a code. So when we make the soil up from that bale, we put a sticker on that bucket of soil, and every plant that's potted out of the tray that's planted out of that bucket of soil from that bale of ProMix has the code from the bale of ProMix. And we started that only about a year or two ago because we were having all kinds of problems with plants that just refused to grow. Potted up, everything else was perfect. There was no explanation for it, but they would just sit there for months and not grow. And we realized that we were getting an occasional bad bale of ProMix. So this is our way of tracking where that came from. Okay. Everything here, everything everywhere now is LED lights. These are Barina lights. Everybody asks what these are. Get them on Amazon. They're very cheap. They're like $10 a strip. You get them in, I think they sell them in like bundles of 4 or 8, but it averages out to like $10 a strip. Very cheap. I mean, not any more than you'd pay for an old-fashioned light bulb. Get the full spectrum. Those are the best. The plants grow better and bloom better if it's the full spectrum LED lights. The problem with, and it took us a few years to figure this out. The LED lights are a lot stronger than the old-fashioned fluorescent bulbs that people used, especially the way they're marketed because they're sold to people growing vegetables and annuals and things like that, full sun plants. And these aren't full sun plants. So we had all kinds of issues getting plants to grow properly. And you'll see this when you go into the main growing area, the shop. If you look at the different stands, you'll see all kinds of, here's an example. You see, here's butcher paper wrapped around the bottom of the lights. Okay.
Okay.
That was one way of doing it.
Yeah.
Another way of doing it is this one doesn't. If they're this distance away, they don't need any diffusing. This is a farther distance than these are. Okay. The closer ones, if you can notice it, you probably can't even tell, but there's a very thin strip of tape. It's very thin piece of tape. It just runs down the very center of the light.
Like Scotch tape?
It's white. I forgot what they call it. It's like marking tapes. You can do graphs with it and that on a board.
I can see it.
It's very thin, and you put it down the middle because the brightest part of the light is in the very center,
Right.
where the diodes are, and there's less light on the outside. If you cover the whole thing, then the plants on the edge don't get as much light. The ones in the middle are the ones that get too much. So we just run a very thin strip of tape down it. Sometimes we'll run 2 strips of tape, depending on what's underneath the light, how much light it wants.
And around the height is?
This is about 18 inches, and this is about 12. About. So this is 18 inches, the LED light works great for standards. Anything closer than that, you're gonna have to diffuse it. The minis the same way.
So 18 inches for minis and semi-minis?
18 inches.
Yeah.
18 inches works great for minis, for anything.
Okay.
If you don't diffuse it. If it's
Okay.
closer, you're going to have to diffuse it.
Okay.
The minis will take a little bit more light, but not a lot more light.
Hours.
They're on. Everything's on for about 13 hours. You notice there's all kinds of timers here.
Diffuse.
So everything goes on automatically and off automatically. No one has to remember to turn on the lights. And we have a big generator here. We lose, where we live here, we lose power a lot. It's almost like a monthly occurrence. And so that thing gets used a lot. And it powers everything in the other building. It does not power this building, but this building. If they don't have light for a few days or a few hours or even a day or two, they'll live. But it does have a separate furnace. So in the winter, the power goes out.
Right.
It's going to need at least to be heated, so that's there. It has a name. That was the new room because it was new. This is the green room.
You guys can keep
because it
going
used to be.
all the way
Okay.
down.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can come all the way in. Used to be the greenhouse. There's no glass, so now we call it a green room. This is basically Olive's domain. Everything in here is grown by Olive. Everybody here on the staff has their area of responsibility, so everybody grows certain kinds of plants. These are all Olive's. And I'm the office guy, so I don't do as much plant work as everybody else. But you'll see plants hanging off the rods here. We grow our chimeras in here and stock plants. A lot of the show plants we're growing on the bottom level here. The same principles apply as the other room as far as light, water, etc. The only thing unique about this room, and you can't see it right now, this was the first room we put the LED lights in. And at that time, the LED technology kept changing on us. You notice there's 2 sets of lights here, 2 strips. One is the white light and one is the purple light. So, but if you grow under, everything grows great on the purple light, but if you have to water or work on it, you can't see anything because it's like having a black light down there, it's dark. So
These are not on. Those are.
they go on at night.
Okay.
So if you drive by here at night, you'll see a weird blue, purpley blue glow through the windows. And everything in here, if we lose the power, is powered by the generator. So, and the great thing about LED lights is it doesn't use a lot of electricity. Our electricity bill now is actually less than it was 30 years ago.
Sure.
Because even though we have 4 times as many lights, we've expanded so much, we pay that much less in electricity. We use a lot more electricity, but we have more fixtures, but we pay a lot less. Just because LED lights, they use so little electricity. Plus they don't generate any heat, which means we don't have to spend the money on air conditioning. They're a lot easier to use. These shelves, you wonder, well, how when I pour water on it, it's how do you get a saucer that big? Basically, it's a big saucer. This is all. Everything's PVC. There's no wood anymore. This is metal, and these are PVC plywood, basically, 4x8 sheets, and we cut it to fit this shelf. And then there's molding that goes around the outside of it, and it's glued to the flat sheet. So it has a lip around the outside, so it'll hold water. It's waterproof. It's plastic. It's a big plastic saucer that we've constructed. So it'll hold water and nothing rots. In the old days when we had wood, we had to fiberglass it. Things would eventually rot. If you use that water, years ago we used it directly out of the well, and the plants after about 4 months, they'd have to be repotted about every 4 months because they would just harden right up. So we have all kinds of filters, you can't see it here, lined up against the wall that pre-filter it, goes into a water softener, comes out, and then goes through an RO system, and then there's a 120-gallon tank there that stores it, because there's that pump you hear right now.
Yeah.
Here it comes. There it goes. That is the water that's coming off of our dehumidifier. So we have a bucket under here all the time. We collect it, and then we water it. And here's something interesting. You notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pipes coming out of the wall. Hot water, RO water, cold water, and then recycled water. Okay. The hot water, the only time we use this, we wash pots and all that, and I don't know if they can see that big black container there on the wheels. We filled it up with pots and trays with a little Clorox and soap, and we wash and sterilize everything when we reuse it. We reuse all the pots that we can. Okay. But that's how we clean it out. We put it in very hot water with Clorox and soap. This is what we call our stock room. It was built originally to house all of our stock plants for cuttings and that. Frank, who is out directing parking, he's our head grower.
1 minute to front door
He's our head
open,
grower. He grows all the plants in here. I'll show you the watering real quickly. How do you water plants? We have these cans on wheels. We collect all the water in here. How do you water those blankets? Each one of those blankets in the shop will get two of these cans. That's how much water it gets. And that scoop I referred to earlier, there's the measuring scoop. So each tray gets 1 scoop. Each one of these trays, if we water, 1 scoop. Each shelf, 2 cans. If it's a big shelf, 3 cans. And there's a fountain pump in the bottom of that. They're plugged in. You can plug it in. They're usually in a certain spot, and that hose will run 30 feet. So you can go anywhere you want, turn that pump on, it's got a little handle, on-off handle, you can water individually by the top. I think that was about it. All right, I think it's 10 o'clock. There's going to be a big rush of people coming in here, so I don't want to hold you up.